Exciting news. OpenAI's keynote. This is for their new browser. This is very big news. It's up there for when they first launched on that first night because of what this means. I'm going to I've hardly used it. It's only been out for a few minutes. It's only working on Mac right now, and you have to have a Pro account or Plus account at least. It's called Atlas, and they had a very short keynote. It is bare bones, but I know why they're doing this. So if we go over to, I'll show you what it is. Right, so ChatGPT Atlas, I've installed it. Now, this was really interesting in the installation. It was very interesting because when you do it, it gives you free credits to become the default browser. And as we know, being the default browser is everything. I'm old enough to remember these wars of the past. And these wars were between Google and Microsoft. So Microsoft went through the fact that Google was the default, was the search engine that everyone was using. Microsoft then did their own browser. As we know, the history with Netscape, we won't go over all that past. Then they put themselves as default on that browser. Now, I know with the Europeans, then broke it up a bit, but Google realized the fact that they couldn't rely on Bing. They just couldn't, and quite rightly. So they brought out their own browser. Now, if you look at the browser market share, Chrome crushed it, absolutely crushed it, but did search center of it. Now, this week, Gemini 3 is coming out. Right now, it's in 2.5, which is their own ChatGPT. Now, it's also been, and I'm sure amongst the Sam Altmans, that the fact that they've noticed that Google Gemini's market share has slowly started to increase. So therefore, what have they done? They brought their own browser out, and it's called Atlas, and here it is. And they've put ChatGPT right into it, including with the agents. They're most probably feeling that what the Gemini 3 is going to do is just that, incorporated into the Chrome browser. So those wars between Google and Microsoft are now happening between Google and ChatGPT. Ironically, of course, Microsoft has a license agreement with ChatGPT and is investing massively. And it's been rumored that with the new private entity that OpenAI, which owns ChatGPT, which created ChatGPT, is doing, that Microsoft's kind of percentage. They took a long time, but Microsoft is now hitting Google from a different direction. This is a way for them to get back into search. Microsoft's always wanted to this, right? It's been the fact that the CEO of Microsoft, he has said in the past, right, he wants to see Google dance to his tune, right? This is a way for them to get back into search. This has search right in the middle, as you can see. Ask ChatGPT or type a URL. When I installed it, I got all my bookmarks that I could bring in, all from Google, and I just imported them in. It does things like, and you can ask for this, that you can memorize the sites it goes to, and then when you say something, then it will look at the sites you've already looked at and come up with the information. So it's using search in a very different way, and search is going to be really important on this. It's going to be really interesting. Right now, it's just on Mac OS, but if this starts to extend out, if this starts to become bigger and bigger, this is a real threat to Google. Now, when this first came out, did lots of talks and presentations, lots of different people. In my slides, it turned around and said that the biggest company that is threatened by this is Google. Over 80% of their revenue comes from search. It is their biggest income and their biggest threat. I know at the time we heard internally from certain engineers and people in Google on some AI chatbots that they freaked out internally. Now, I think they felt they were getting the upper hand, especially with Gemini. Getting that market share back? Now, the game has changed. This now is the default browser on my computer. That is a powerful thing. Now, here's some other really interesting, I'm just doing a quick video tonight to tell you some interesting things. Cookies, right? That annoying thing at the bottom, European legislation, and Britain has it as well, is that you got to click, it doesn't by default. It doesn't do it. It doesn't click OK to those cookie. I don't know what that means. I think they mostly did that, worried about regulation from Europe and Great Britain. But that's really interesting that they're thinking about that right now, because this is something that is open to regulation. The fact that it will just go over sites and will go over sites for you. And this is really interesting. So on agent mode, it can look and go through the site, click, search, whatever. It does things, apparently, according to the keynote, and I've been playing around and it's still not there, still a bit buggy as hell, right? But so therefore, I'll give you an example. If you went to something like BBC, let's go to CNN, right? So as you can see, it has search results, no ads as yet, right? No ads. Click that, right? And then you click the accept. But remember that with ChatGPT, it can go to sites for you and then do things for you, including it could do, if it was allowed, to click the cookie banner. Right, so then you got Ask GPT on the side there. You then got a plus and you've got agent mode. Now this is really interesting. So I could go into agent mode and say, search this site for stories about penguins. Or you don't need it for a task. So I've got connected Gmail, Google Calendar, Google Drive. So it came up with that and it didn't come up that before. I think things are mostly happening already. As you can see, you have sparkliness because it's going around and looking. Now it's searching. I'm not doing anything to this. It's now going to perform a search and look for penguins. This is me not doing absolutely anything. There you go. And it's got then the search results for penguins. And again, and it tells you exactly what it's doing as it's doing it. So it's filtering for stories. It's still trying to interact with it and telling you what it's doing it. So now there are 8 results in total. Now looking around at this site. So we've returned 67 results, and here are the few recent ones. So you've got the information now being pulled out and summarized. That's kind of cool, right? So you can look down it and see it. Now, this is where it gets a bit more interesting. So if you go to agent mode, remember agent mode, people who aren't, it's like creating lots of little robots which go off and do things for you. They can log in, they can even put into shopping baskets, and apparently, according to AI, they can go all the way to, but we haven't seen that yet, and I don't know whether that's happening yet, but will do, right? If you've already logged in, then it will log in for you. And part of the settings is that the fact that it can do that for you. Now I can go, right, as you can see down below, you've got connectors. Now using Cloud Browser, now this is really interesting. So this isn't using the browser. So this is a application on my Mac. So using the Cloud Browser, it now will do things not on here. So I can then turn around and go, right, go to the BBC site and search for penguins which have funny, silly little stories and give me a summary. Now, it's now not using this app. It's now using their browser in the cloud. Okay. Now, when I very quickly did this earlier and I was asking for it to search for things to buy, I just put in about hiking. It went off. No, I put in about a toy car. It tried to look at Amazon. It had lots of security issues. Now, I don't know whether I'm going to start blocking ChatGPT going over it or not. This is really interesting. So Amazon stopped the ChatGPT going over it. Don't know what that's about. I don't know whether that's permanent or temporary. It was fine on eBay and managed to find a little Fiat 500 and then like this and put it into the shopping basket all by itself. So now I'll click the search. So it's now doing things on the BBC search page, not on here, but it's doing it in the cloud, which is really interesting. So it's now searching. Now, I can leave that alone and go over here, right? Still doing it without my interaction, right? Now, that's something you can pretty much do on the ChatGPT apps and the site already, and it does it in the cloud and does it for you. But it's interesting they put it in here. So other things you can do, we're going to find out together. I'm going to turn around and go, right, on my Twitter, go to Twitter, and I'll log in. My woe is me. So I have to put in at my woe is me. You see, still got problems. Okay, go to Google Docs. You can see with the search results. So if I click a new document like this, I can then go to my ChatGPT. Now, as you know, Google has their own AI in Google Docs. And it was very interesting that in the presentation, they concentrated very much on using Google Docs with ChatGPT, even though Gemini is in Google. That is a direct threat, right? So I can ask it to write a letter to thank someone for a lovely dinner last Tuesday and make the tone very informal. The person's name was Lucy. Now, interesting, they've done this with Google. They haven't shown anything with Microsoft. They showed it in Google. Right, so now you just created this, and now you could copy and paste that in there. By the way, so it's looking at what's in the browser, right? Now, if I did then get this, copy and put it in to the browser, right? I can then turn around and go, right, what is this letter about? Interesting. So it couldn't see what's on the Google Doc. That's not what they showed at the presentation. This is interesting. When it says attach screenshot and then go, what is this letter? What is this document about? This is first night. So that was interesting. So now I'm going to try, remember, just got first use of this. So agent mode comes in again. All right. And I'm going to go write a new Google Doc to doc that is a letter to my brother, inviting him to a letter to Lucy. Let's make a letter to Lucy to invite her to dinner next Monday at 6. So now it's going to use the connectors to get it started. And you can see that it's down here. Hey Lucy, Google Docs. I can take control whatever I want. It's now thinking about it. New Google Doc. I'll follow the steps. Selecting all. Waiting for the document to load. That's nice. Changing the title. Like that. I like that a lot actually. Not doing anything. Hands off. There we go. It's written. That's not bad. So on the right hand side, don't make any changes. I'm actually fine with that. Now, I can now go back to the previous what I did, which was cloud over here. And so here's some light-hearted penguin stories from the BBC. So this goes to show that you could open up tabs and just carry on another tab to do something else with the agent working in the background and another one. You can have many different agents doing many different things, which is kind of amazing. There are still some issues. It's blocked by certain security walls that get put up by some of these sites. But this is really interesting. This they've done, and this happens a lot actually, is that when ChatGPT comes up with something, it's usually just before Google does, and when just about to come up with something, ChatGPT comes out with something. This is a fight to the death. Not all these companies are going to survive. They know that. There are hundreds of billions of dollars stake on this. There's, in the end, trillions of dollars. This is a massive fight. This is the biggest thing since ChatGPT came out, and it's going to be really interesting. And regulators are going to start looking at this, and what does this mean? Dominance in the market with its browser and with its search is now deeply under threat. Is now very interesting. I'm going to be using this more and more over the next few days, and I'll do some updates, right? But right now, I'm liking what I'm seeing. See how the search goes. It's nice having search without all those ads. Those ads are really just become so annoying on Google now. That Google's market share, that Google's revenue is directly now under threat. We'll see. That's it for me for today. Doing more this. This is a very quick reaction. I'm going to start doing live tomorrow. I've got other coming up. Please subscribe and like. Me, Woe, and see you soon.